here is something I think very, very strongly. People misunderstand that you will go through phases in life. And so I can project to my deathbed and say the things I will care about when I have no more time will be very different than the things that I cared about when I had maybe even the illusion of time. Because who knows, I could die this afternoon, but I have the illusion that I have a lot of time left. And so I live my life in accordance with that. Now, given how much I love my wife, how much I love my life, how much I love storytelling, how much I love ambition, how much I enjoy the thought of doing grand things, it's like, I really want kids. Rungan, I really want kids. The only thing I want more than to have kids is to not have kids. And so I make use of the time and energy that would otherwise go into having kids. But I'm not a fool. I could write you a poem right now that would leave you convinced that I knew what it was like to have kids and to have that kind of deep emotion and love and connection and sense of progeny. Like, I get it. So I'm not foolish enough to think that as I age, that my frame of reference won't change. So the big question of my life is, what phase do you live for? Because I could live for the end phase of my life and be like, I'm on my deathbed and I have no regrets and this is amazing. Or I can recognize what I think is the right answer, which Edith, your Edith, who survived Auschwitz, taught us, which is, it doesn't matter what happens. It matters how you think of it. And so my thing is, the best advice I ever got around kids was, Tom, have kids, don't have kids. It doesn't really matter. But whatever you do it all the way. And so when we decided not to have kids, I said to Lisa, just know when we're on our deathbed or when we're really old, we're going to regret this. And as long as we're loving it now, then when we're there, just keep that frame of reference. We fucking loved our lives. Like, this was incredible. That what a ride. But don't go into it now thinking, oh, you'll never think that you'll never hit a phase where you wish you had kids. Yeah. Tom, you probably will.
That's so beautiful on so many levels. It really is. The big thing that speaks to me as I hear that is you guys have been intentional about that decision, right? So here's the thing. Even if you get to your deathbed and you are regretting it, at least you consciously chose. Right? At least you went through the process of weighing up the pros and cons, figuring out where does this thing come from that I think I want kids, I don't want kids, right? And you made a list, you made the pros and cons, and you made a decision. Fine. Many people, Tom, many of my patients, many people that I talk to are making unconscious decisions. They're having regrets on their deathbed, but they've never actually thought about it, right? These people who are saying, I wish I'd allowed myself to be happy. I wish I'd see my friends and family more. I wish I'd worked less. You know, all these kind of things that people regret and they say they wish they'd done. You, I feel, you're very different because you've approached it with intentionality. So I find that very, very powerful. And I think even if that's something that people take away, that can be very powerful. Because you're right, how do you actually know anyway? How do you really know how you're going to feel when you're, I don't know, 80, 90, what is it, 120, 130, right? How do you know how you're going to feel? And you don't. But at least if you're thinking about it, I think that helps.